Surely by now everyone has heard about the SB Tactical issue last week. And I say SB Tactical issue, this is actually an ATF issue that involves SB Tactical. Last week, a couple of leaked documents came out. Now, before I go into any of that detail, I want to tell you what really happens in terms of leaked documents. Leaked documents, whenever you say the phrase leaked documents, it's implying that maybe they got out by accident. That almost like somebody had their laptop open and somebody glanced over and saw it, or that maybe you copied the wrong person on an email and it leaked out. Leaked documents are not accidental deliveries of documents. They are purposely sent out. The reason why they're leaked is because the person who put them out, sent them out, is too cowardly to actually say, we are the ones who sent them out. So now they can hide behind this guise of, I didn't put that out there, somebody got that. Even though it may have been indirectly from me, I'm not the one that put it out, it leaked out. It's kind of like the old man down the road, the old dirty old man that decides he wants to shower at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in broad daylight with all the curtains open on his house, and he walks in front of the window butt naked while some lady just happened to be walking her dog or something like that in front of his house, and she sees all of his business. If a cop were walking in front of the window, that wouldn't have happened. The reason why I bring that up is because it was purposely done. The dirty old man did that on purpose. He acted like, oops, I didn't mean for you to see me, but he meant for her to see him. He intended that. Same thing with leaked documents. Leaked documents are purposely put out. It's just the person distributing that, putting that out, is too cowardly to actually be the one that puts it out, so they hide behind that. So I wanted to get that out of the way because it's very important, because these are considered leaked documents. My estimation is these are leaked because they came directly from the ATF. The ATF gave these documents out. The ATF sent these documents out, but they're too cowardly to say that they put them out there to try to achieve the goals that they're trying to achieve. Now, where did they go? They went to Ammo Land. Now, I will say that I know the owners of Ammo Land. Brian and Freddie are stand-up good guys. I don't know the reporter, journalist, whatever you want to call this guy, who wrote this story for Ammo Land. I don't know him, so I can't reflect on his background either or what his intent may have been. But it really painted a bad picture of SB Tactical, specifically in terms of arm braces, stabilizing braces. This has always been a point of contention, the stabilizing braces. The ATF has never liked stabilizing braces. They've never felt like this was something that we as honest law-abiding gun owners should have. They've always wanted to ban them. They had a 2015 letter that came out. They put letters out, opinions out. They retract it with other opinions, and they put other opinions out. They have gone back and forth on stabilizing braces for God knows how long, because they don't like them, but they can't rid the market of them. They can't take them off the market. For one thing, there's millions of them out there. For another thing, there's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing illegal. There's no weird intent for them. They're just braces. They're a different type of accessory. They've often wanted to get rid of these. They just couldn't. Well, one of the leaked documents, actually dated July 18th of 2018, is a document that is directed to SB Tactical. And I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on this particular letter. And the reason why is because if you go to the Truth About Guns website, you will find a really good write-up on this whole scenario. They did a fabulous piece over there. So I'm not going to rehash what all they did. I'll put the link in the description field for my video. The letter to SB Tactical says that they're informing SB Tactical that certain products marketed and sold by SB Tactical have not been evaluated or approved by the ATF. They also say that they are being marketed as evaluated and approved by the ATF, and they wanted them to stop. Now, again, this letter was from 2018. This particular document is full of lies. Again, go to the Truth About Guns story and you'll see. They pull out all the lies out of this. So anyway, that's the letter that came out in 2018. Now, why is that letter relevant? It's because, in my opinion, it shows a place in time where the ATF now has gotten sideways with SB Tactical. Specifically SB Tactical, not necessarily arm braces, unless they are trying to get at the other stabilizing brace companies via SB Tactical being the main player in that market, with a vast majority. When I say an overwhelming majority of the stabilizing braces come from SB Tactical, it's not even close. I would say 9 out of 10 probably come from SB Tactical, with the other manufacturers, Shockwave and Gearhead, providing the tail hook and some of the other devices out there. Now, during all this time, another one of the leaked letters that came out here last couple of weeks, again, you'll find that on the Truth About Guns article, is a 2017 letter. Now, this letter is actually a technical examination report. It's basically a prosecutor, court system, arrests guys in the commission of a crime, okay? This is kind of how this process works on the report of technical examination. They take these weapons and they're not sure. It's a suspected, let's say it's a suspected short barrel rifle. So they send that pictures, the actual weapon itself and the description and all that kind of stuff. They send it to the ATF. The ATF has a team that then takes that. They go through the weapon. They look at the laws, the NFA, the GCA laws, everything that might pertain to that particular weapon. And then they have their ruling that they put out via a report, and they send that back to either the prosecutor or whomever the court system. In most cases, it's going to be the prosecutor, because that's who's looking to put charges or possible additional charges on the defendant. In this case, this is a 2017 case. Now, I'm bringing this one up because this one seems a little innocent, if you will. It seems the way these reports probably should be written. It's a 6-page report, and it goes on to explain what the Gun Control Act is. It goes on to talk about the findings of the particular firearms that were submitted from the prosecution office. There are, in this 6-page document, there are roughly 3.5 pages of findings. You'll notice that in those 3.5 pages of findings, SB Tactical is one of the braces that was found on 2 of the 3 firearms that's in this particular case. They reference SB Tactical 2 times in 6 pages. 2 times in 6 pages. This comes from the Martinsburg, Virginia office of the ATF. And again, it is an examination test clarification. That's the type of examination request that it is. I bring that up because we have a very similar file. It is also from the Martinsburg, West Virginia office. It is also an examination test classification request. It is the same report of technical examination, the same type of document, requested for the exact same reason as this 2017 document. This one, however, came in 2020, 3 years later. Now remember, I'm trying to paint a timeline here. In 2017, there did not seem to be much of an axe to be grinded from the ATF with SB Tactical. In other words, again, they only referenced them 2 times in here. There's no negative talk of SB Tactical. There is actually no girlfriend talk, junior high school talk, yip yap. There's none of that in here. 6-page document, SB Tactical is mentioned twice. This 2020 document is a 7-page document. In this document, SB Tactical is mentioned 24 times. 24 times. This document has 1 more page than the other document where they were mentioned twice. They're mentioned 24 times in here. Remember the last document, the 2017 document? That's findings took 3.5 pages, a very thorough list of their findings and operation of those particular findings. Remember that? Now we have the findings in this 2020 document that span all but 1 paragraph. 1 paragraph of findings in a 7-page document where SB Tactical was mentioned 24 times. Clearly, since 2017, the ATF has had enough of SB Tactical. Probably braces in general, but SB Tactical, again, being the head of the snake, if you will, because they are the biggest player out there, and I don't mean that term in a negative sense, but clearly SB Tactical, if you can take them down, obviously everybody else who is much, much, much smaller, a whole lot less legal fees and all that, you can take down the other guys pretty effortlessly. They may just go down by themselves. And again, that's not a knock at the other guys. They just don't have the strength and the power of the SB Tactical. SB Tactical spends a lot of money on attorneys, lobbyists, and all that kind of stuff, and they're constantly fighting behind the scenes, fighting off the ATF to defend our rights to have these braces on all of our weapons that we want to have, all of our pistols and shotguns and whatnot. Or I guess we shouldn't call them shotguns because it would, in essence, be a short barrel shotgun according to them. My problem with these two documents is that the 2017 and the 2021 clearly have a slant to them one way or the other. The 2017 one is simply looking at what these weapons are. Are these weapons legal weapons? And the reason why they're asking that in the first place is simply because they want to see if they are, quote, legal, so that they can or can't, whether or not they have that option, to add additional charges to the people who are already being prosecuted. So there's already a court case that's ongoing, and now they're trying to see if they can add additional charges, so they need permission from the ATF to add those additional charges if these were, in fact, short barrel rifle, short barrel shotgun. The reason why I bring that up is because the 2021 that only had a one paragraph of findings, yet 24 mentions of SB Tactical, 7 pages of rambling, blah, 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 junior high school, yip, yap, yip, yap, yip, yap, clearly mad, clearly butthurt. The ATF is mad. They're angry. And because they have somewhat been neutered via the Department of Justice, the current Department of Justice, because they have been told that you can't keep putting these little opinion letters out there and try to assume that those are laws and everybody else needs to follow that. The DOJ clamped down on the ATF. Why and how did they do that? Not solely because of SB Tactical, but because of SB Tactical's attorneys and their lobbyists contacting congresspersons and whatnot to put the pressure on the Department of Justice to basically handcuff the ATF and tell them, stop doing things that are not your job, which included those opinion letters that they were trying to be perceived as law. So because they got their feet taken out from under them, and indirectly there might be a little bit of lobbying dollars that came from SB Tactical, now they're going after SB Tactical, and this is how they're doing it. They're not doing it by putting out opinion letters. Now they're doing it by putting out letters to prosecutors that they then in turn leak, so that everybody else can see them and that they can freak everyone out and make everyone stop purchasing these tactical braces, these stabilizing braces, because they think there are pending laws coming down as a result of that. Now, I'm not saying there's not pending laws or impending laws that might be coming down in the future. I'm certainly not stating that, because there very well could be. Clearly, the ATF has a problem with braces. They don't like them. They want to outlaw them. At this point, they just can't. That's why we're where we are. That's why they are leaking these things. That's why they're not putting opinion letters out anymore. That's why they're putting these letters out, leaking these letters out that are intended for a court system to use to press charges or not press charges, but they're going about it this way. Now, the problem I have, especially with them going about it this way, other than the fact that it's simply un-American, is the very fact that behind this case, we have a living, breathing human being. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that is the very fact that the ATF is using a prosecutor and a court case to go after SB Tactical and to smear SB Tactical, knowing full well, or maybe they're actually ignoring the fact that there's a person behind this. If now they are going to determine that this guy has a short barrel shotgun, he purchased that SBA3 legally. He installed that on a firearm that he had the legal right to install it on. But using this document, the ATF has now determined that, oh no, they made it a short barrel shotgun. So what the ATF is doing by trying to go after SB Tactical, by putting all this information in here for no reason, absolutely no reason for a prosecutor's office to need all the information that's in here negative about SB Tactical, but by putting all that in there and then accidentally, leaking it, they're sending that message to everybody else out there that the SBA3 is illegal, even though there's a million of them out there, and that now, using the vehicle of a human being in a court case, this person who, again, it was in the commission of a crime. This person did commit a crime who these charges are actually against. But now the ATF, by trying to go after SB Tactical, is throwing this guy under the bus and ignoring his rights as an American, knowing full well that he's probably going to get an additional 10 years or $10,000 or both tacked on to his whatever his sentence is going to be. Again, he'd already committed a crime. No, I'm not trying to take up for criminals, but you know what? Right is right and wrong is wrong. Let this guy get hit with the charges of the crime that he committed. Don't pile on additional crimes because you have an indirect axe to grind with a company out there that you have a problem with. So you're going to send this man to prison for 10 more years? It might be that the commission of it, and I don't know the details of his crime, but maybe the commission of his crime only yielded a 5-year sentence for him. But now we're going to throw an additional 10 years onto his sentence. So this man's going to rot in jail for 15 years because of a 5-year crime that he committed, simply because the ATF has a problem with SB Tactical. Guys, that's not right. That's not right. The ATF should not be the vehicle that's making these kinds of decisions through these types of documents. They are sitting here and fabricating these documents, making up things, going back to their same 2015 thing that they did 5 years ago, stating that putting that on there, length of pull, how the user intends to use it, now suddenly changes this and makes it a short barrel shotgun instead of just a weapon. Guys, that is absolutely not right. There is one person, who built the tactical brace, invented the tactical brace. That one person, and only that one person, knows the full intent of what a stabilizing brace is. So if that person intended for that to be a stabilizing brace and did not intend it to be shouldered, I don't care how else that brace is being used. It's being used incorrectly and not via the manufacturer's instructions. Let me explain something to you. Using something in an incorrect way or not the way the manufacturer intended absolutely does not change what it now becomes. When I was younger, and I have the scars on my elbows, knees, and my shins to prove it, I rode a lot of dirt bikes. What did we do on dirt bikes, especially when our parents weren't watching? We jumped things. We jumped ditches. We put ramps up. We did all kinds of stupid stuff. There were many times that I caught air and probably didn't land on 2 tires, but caught air with my dirt bike. 3, maybe 4 seconds if I was really lucky in the air. To my knowledge, the FCC or anybody else for that matter doesn't have a requirement that says how long you have to be in the air before you actually come down again for that vehicle that you're on to be considered an airplane. So by the sheer fact that I was in the air and not riding on the ground, did I suddenly redesign my motorcycle and it became an airplane just because of my use? That's not the intended use. A dirt bike is not intended to fly. I made it fly for 3 seconds, but did I redesign it? Now would the FCC rules apply to me riding a dirt bike? Guys, that's the exact same stupidity that we're dealing with right here with the ATF. If it was designed and intended for one single purpose, you cannot change that invention or the intent of why that thing was created, simply how you use it. That is not possible. But the ATF is right back to that again. This is the SBA 3. This is on a CMG Banshee. They hate this thing, but they hate them all. They don't like any of them. That's what they're going to be going after. And those of you that might sit here and say, oh, it's fear-mongering, and we hear that all the time, many of us do. Let me explain something to you. I'm not going to sit back and let the ATF do their thing, do their dirty work, throw people in jail that don't belong there just because they're trying to get after somebody else. I'm not going to sit back quietly and allow that to happen because I'm afraid of what you might call me, of what you might say that I'm doing. If you call what I'm doing right here fear-mongering, number 1, click off the video. Nobody's holding a gun to your head making you watch it. Number 2, just unsubscribe from my videos. I don't need viewers like that. Look, guys, I appreciate everybody that follows and watches my videos. But those of you who have a problem with my delivery and how I'm trying to prepare all of us for the crap that's going to happen with the ATF going forward, if you got a problem with that, this is not the place for you. I'm doing both of us a favor by asking you to leave. You're doing yourself a favor by leaving. Just leave. Go away. There's plenty of sites out there that are anti-gun that'll take your side, that'll allow us to slam our heads in the sand and ignore everything that's actually happening around us. Now, I've spoken with SB Tactical, and a lot of the stuff that we're talking about here, they have confirmed that it is in fact happening. I've actually spoken with the guys over at Gearhead who make the tail hook. This is the tail hook right here. I've actually spoken to the Shockwave guys too. They make the blade. I've spoken with both of those guys, and the reason why I asked them is because I was just curious. The biggest problem that we've got and why the ATF can kind of get away with what they continually get away with is because they won't come out and define what they want and don't want on a stabilizing brace. They will not list parameters. They throw these ambiguous things out there like length of pull, weight of the gun, how the gun is shot, shot with one hand. They have all these real ambiguous things that they keep throwing out there to try to keep people guessing. Because as long as you don't know the rules, they can always say that you're breaking them because you don't know what they are. If you don't put a speed limit up on a street, you never know what the speed limit is. So what speed do you go? If you go 26, they can easily say that the speed limit was 15. There's always that opportunity to catch somebody. The number one question we'll be asking the ATF is, why don't you want to publicize rules? Why don't you want that? We should all be outraged over this. We should all be outraged. These are accessories. This is not even a regulatable item in my eyes. We shouldn't even be having this conversation. The ATF should have nothing to do with this. What's next? Next, optics? Are they going to now say that having an optic on the gun changes the gun? You know what? That's a rhetorical question because I have the answer. That's where the ATF is going. They are trying to now set up a list of parameters, and I'll show you the list here, that says these are the determining factors that they are going to use going forward to determine whether or not you, the user, has now redesigned your AR pistol or your shotgun with a tactical brace, stabilizing brace. That's the road we're heading down, guys. The only person doing anything wrong here and the only person who could be facing jail time is the ATF. Because they are violating the Constitution. And in this case, where this person committed a crime, and they are going against a legally purchased item and saying that now this is an illegal item, they run the risk of putting this person in jail just to fill their own agenda with no regard to this American's own freedom. Again, I know he's a criminal. I know he committed a crime. You serve the time for that crime and not a day or hour or minute more.